Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome back, friend. Welcome to another video tutorial from chemibiology. In this video lecture, we'll be talking about the virology. Okay, so we'll be talking about the virology. Okay, now what is virology? Virology means the study of viruses. Okay, let me write. Study of viruses. Okay, study of viruses. Okay, so the study of viruses are called virology. Okay, the study of viruses are called what? The study of viruses are called virology. Okay, now the second question we have that what are viruses? Okay, now what are the viruses? Viruses means these are the obligate intracellular parasites. Okay, so what these are? Obligate intracellular parasites. Obligate intracellular para, or simply we can say that's means that it's particles, we can say. Now what does it mean? Obligate intracellular parasite. What does this word means? That obligate intracellular parasites. Okay, this word means that virus need a host cell. Means that intracellular means that virus need a cell. Within cell they can survive. Within cell they can be a survive. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that viruses need a host cell. What they need? Need host cell. Okay, so viruses need a host cell. So a host cell, they need a host cell. Through this host cell viruses maybe survive. Okay, now for living, okay, for living the viruses need what? The viruses need the host cell. So for living viruses need host cell. So host cell, if we talk about the host cell, so host cell could be divided into two sections. Okay, so it could be, let me write, it could be a plant cell, or it could be a animal cell. Okay, it could be a plant cell or it could be an animal cell. In case of animal, we have the prokaryotes and we have eukaryotes. Now these two are actually the cells. Okay, I hope you know about these two terms, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. If you don't know about the prokaryotes and eukaryotes, you can go to my channel and watch the video about it, because I cannot explain these two terms in a very short day, because it's a very complicated and very big video, big lecture. Okay, so still I have just a little bit explained this that what are actually prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes, actually these are those viruses which are prokaryotes are those cells which don't have genetic material, which don't have nucleus, which don't have organelles. While eukaryotics are those which have the genetic material. It have the genetic material. In case of prokaryote, it have the genetic material, but they don't have developed nucleus, and they don't have any other organelles. In the case of eukaryotics, they have the genetic material with a developed nucleus, and as well as they have also the organelles as well, means mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes. Okay, all of the genetic material they have present. Okay, in case of eukaryotes. Okay, so now, so in animal we have prokaryotes and eukaryote cells. Okay, so they need these two cells by which they can survive inside the host cell. Okay, so for viruses they need the host cell through which the viruses are survived. Okay, so next we have some features of the viruses that We called viruses particle. Second, why we called viruses particle? We called virus particle because virus don't have, they do not behave like a cell. What does it mean? It means that viruses are not just like the cell. We cannot call that viruses or the cell because viruses have just three important things. I will discuss it further. Viruses have just three important things. They will be envelope, protein coat, and nucleic acid, means DNA or RNA. Okay, we will discuss it further. Okay, in case of structure, we will discuss it. Okay, so viruses, we call that viruses are the particle. We cannot call these are the cell. Okay, okay. Second, we have that viruses are actually, you know, viruses are actually non-living. Viruses are non-living. What does it mean? It means that, let's suppose this is, let me, if I draw the structure of the viruses. So let's suppose, okay, let's suppose this is a simple virus structure, okay. It contains envelope outside, okay. This is envelope. Within the virus particle, it could be contain a genetic material, and this genetic material could be a DNA or RNA. Okay, this is the virus that are present outside. Okay, so when the viruses are present outside the cell, we call that non-living. Why we call that non-living when they are present outside? We call that non-living because they are not survive, they are not reproduce, they just present outside. So due to this property, due to these characteristics, we mention that viruses are non-living. Although they have the genetic material, but still we consider it non-living thing. But if we consider that viruses are the living, let's suppose if we consider that viruses are the what? Viruses are living. Let's suppose we consider the virus as the living. What does it mean? It means, let's suppose this virus get enter inside the host cell. Okay, let's suppose this is the host cell. In this case, the host cell is, let's suppose, a bacterial cell. Okay, this is a bacterial cell. Okay, bacterial cell. In this case, let's suppose the host cell is what? The host cell is a bacterial cell. Okay, so when the viruses are present, inside the host cell, okay, these are the genetic material. Okay, so when the virus are present inside the host cell, so what are actually happen? This virus will make copies. Okay, what they make their copies. So we call that living. Why we call that living in this case? Because viruses take the bacterial cell, they destroy the bacterial cell, they make their copies inside the bacterial cell, they use the machinery of the bacterial cell. When they use the machinery of the bacterial cell, when they survive inside the bacterial cell, when they make the copies of the bacterial cell, inside the bacterial cell, when they make their copies, the virus make their copies. So due to these characteristics, we call that viruses are the living. Okay, so inside the cell means inside the inside, okay, inside the cell. So we call that, yes, bacteria, yes, the viruses are the living. Okay, so if we talk that viruses are present outside the cell, so we call that non-living. Okay, so that's all sense about the viruses. Means that's all about the viruses introduction. Okay, that virus introduction needs these things. Okay. The other things we have that that viruses actually contain two important things. What? Virus contain two important things. Contain two important What are these two important things? These two important things are actually the genetic material genetic material and a protein coat, means capsid. Okay, so virus contain these two things, genetic material and capsid and protein coat. This is a let's suppose this is a virus structure. Okay, this area is called a protein coat. Okay, or we can simply call that capsid. Okay, this is a capsid. Okay, and this blue color, as I draw, this is a genetic material. Simply we can say nucleic acid. Sorry for bad handwriting, that my handwriting is very bad, but still I hope you understand about the whole idea about the viruses. Okay, so that's all about the genetic material, that viruses actually contain these two important things. Okay, these are the very important things about the viruses. Okay, some viruses, one important thing, I will discuss these things in the next video, but let me a little bit understand you that viruses are enveloped as well as non-enveloped. When the viruses have outer coat, so they will be enveloped. We will discuss it in a very detail in the next video. And when viruses have just this portion, so it's called non-enveloped virus. Okay, so viruses are enveloped as well as non-enveloped. This is actually, I draw the structure of the enveloped viruses. Okay, this is enveloped virus. We will discuss it in the very detail in the next video. Okay, so that's about the viruses enveloped structures. Okay, next things that I want to discuss you, this is about the classifications of viruses. There's a lot of problems with students about the classifications of the viruses, nomenclature of the viruses. They always forget the names or forget the classification, that how we can classify, how we can name the viruses. There's a lot of question arises in our mind. Okay, so let me explain a very short very short things about that. That what are actually the classification, how we name the viruses. Okay, so second things, let me explain the classifications because there is always a question arises in our mind, that what are how we can give the name to viruses. Okay, so let me second things that I want to discuss you about the classifications. Okay, okay, classifications, or we can say simply we can say nomenclature. Or simply we can say nomenclature. Okay, now what does it mean? What does it mean? It means that we can classify the viruses into family, okay, we can classify the viruses into subfamily, then we have subfamily, and we have genus, last we have species. Okay, so now that's all about the So that's about the simple classifications of the viruses. Whenever you want to memorize the virus's name, or whenever you want to memorize the name, that how we can classify the viruses, you need to understand these important things. Okay, you need to understand these important things. Now, family will be divide the viruses into subfamily. Subfamily will divide the virus into genus, and genus will divide into a species. If we talks about viruses, if we talk the word virus, so we will mention it in a species. Okay, so we will mention it in a species. Virus means species. It's virus is a simple species. Okay, if we talked about rabies virus, okay, so a rabies virus will be goes to genus, because species will combine and it make a genus, and this genus may be a rabies virus. Let's suppose if I say that rabies virus, so rabies virus means that viruses are combined together and they make a specific structure which are we term that genus. Okay, so that will be a rabies viruses. Okay, so now this is the rabies. If it talks about, so viruses are actually genus. This is genus. And if we talked about the next thing, and this is about the, if you always listen another word, viridia. I think viridia spelling maybe I think wrong here. Viridia. Yeah, this is viridia. If it talks about viridia, so it may be a subfamily of the virus. Virus is a genus. Subfamily means viridia. Subfamily means viridia. So it will be a rabies viridia. Rabies viridia. Okay, so it will be called as rabies viridia. Now, if we call that a family, means rabies virus, where rabies viridia will make, this is a subfamily. Okay, rabies viridia is a subfamily. So if it make a group, it make a big family, so we can call that rabies. Sorry, wrong. A little bit wrong. We call that, for the subfamily, we call it virinae. Okay, rabies virinae. And for family, we call that rabies viridia. Okay, so we call that rabies viridia. Okay, so that's in the sense about the viruses, virology, their structure, their shapes, non-living properties, living properties, their genetic material, everything about the viruses in a short terms. Okay, and I hope this video helpful. Okay, this all about the viruses. Okay, we start from this virology, that what is virology means, the study of viruses, and then we says that viruses are the obligate intracellular parasites. Okay, and then we said that obligate intracellular parasite means that it need a host cell. Okay, and host cell we need that plant and animal cell. Okay, then we say that plants, animal cells may be a prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Okay, then we talked about the particles, that viruses we can call it particle because it it don't have a well developed structure just like a cell. It don't have any other organelles. Okay, so that's why we call that particles. Okay, then we call that viruses contain two important things, genetic material and protein codes. So then we draw a structure of the viruses, that this is viruses usually contain this outer layer which we call that envelope, and it contain a capsid, we call that there are the protein portion, and then it contain the nucleic acid, mean it will be a DNA, RNA. Okay, and then we talked about the non-living and living properties of the viruses. Living viruses means that virus present inside the host cell and they survive and they live and they destroy the bacterial cell and they use the machinery of the bacterial cell, so we call that the viruses are the living. And then we said non-living properties of the virus. When viruses are present outside of the cell, then there will be a genetic material, but they are not survive, they are not means move everything about the viruses, so they will be called as non-living viruses. Okay, And then we talked about the classifications of the viruses, nomenclature of the viruses. That viruses are actually four classification: family, subfamily, genus, species. Okay, so species will combine, they will make genus. Genus will combine, they make subfamily. Subfamily combine, they make a family. Okay, so in species we have viruses, in genus we have rabies viruses. Okay, rabies virus when combined together they make a subfamily, means there will be a rabies varinia. Varinia indicates subfamily, varidia indicate family, and virus indicates simple genus. Okay, so then we call that subfamily. Subfamily means rabies varinia, and last we say that rabies varidia. Okay, I hope this video helpful. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe my channel to get more video lecture like that. Thank you.